Hey, welcome to video number 5. We're going to talk about QR code tactics, engaging customers. So what I'm going to do in this video, it's split up into two parts. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about 3 tactics that you can use to engage your customers. And then I'm going to talk about how to create your QR code. So the first part kind of be, just get an idea of how things work. And then the second part, I'm actually going to go to websites and actually show you step by step how to create a QR code. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the 3 tactics to engage customers. The first tactic is to build curiosity and pre-sell products. And what I mean by that is if you're selling a product or you're selling a service, you need to somehow build trust before they want to buy. Usually when customers see your product, they don't know you, they don't know your product and what it's all about. And people are going to ask the question, what's in it for me? So you have this chance to use this QR code to do that. And let me show you how and give you an example on how others are doing this. Now, I want you to think as I'm going through this, how can this help you? How can this relate to your product? How can you pre-sell your product, whether it's through a video, whether through it's a landing page, whether it's through social media and so forth? How in relation to your product can you engage your customers? So let me give you an example. One large hotel chain recently put up QR codes next to items in its restaurant menus. So when a customer scans the code, they can see a video of a chef preparing the dish, what's in the dish, and in doing so, it enhances the customer's experience. So imagine the QR code specifically for a pizza dish. Somebody scans it, they can see how it's made, see what's on it, so that the customers know what to expect. If the customers understand what they're getting into and then they want it, then you pretty much have a customer who gets to your restaurant, they know exactly what they want. And getting customers like that is awesome because you don't have to answer so many questions. They know what they want and you've helped them give them what they want. So in this case, as you can see, you got one set goal, one set mind. Scan the code brings them to a video. That's it. So as you can see, it's a 2-step process, and that way you're pre-selling your products. So that's one way to engage your customers. Just think about how you can do that with your own product or service. Another way to pre-sell or even build curiosity is Q&A, question and answers. Your customers are always going to have questions, or your prospects are always going to have questions about your product or your service if they don't know, a lot about your product. So they're going to have questions and you need to answer those questions. So what I usually tell my clients who are trying to create marketing campaigns and so forth, think of the top 10, 15, or 20 questions that a customer has. You don't have to go all out. Just think of the top 10 questions that everybody seems to ask about your product and jot those down. And then what you can do is just create a landing page, whether using Winksite or the other sites that I showed you. Create a landing page, put those 10 questions on, put a picture, put a video, and then just answer those questions. And the good thing about QR codes is that it gives you the ability to do that. And many libraries are actually doing Q&A where you walk up to the library and you don't even have a person there answering questions. They say scan the QR code and then find out answers, about that questions that you have. So that in itself, if you can answer somebody's question, then you yourself have pretty much gotten that customer one step closer to understanding how your product can affect them and how your product can fulfill their desires, their problems, and their wants, and their Let me give you another example. Museums and exhibits nowadays are creating QR codes. They've put a QR code right next to the exhibit to allow the user to see and read everything pertaining to that specific exhibit or piece or art display and so forth. They can find more information. Instead of somebody standing there and giving you a tour, you can read about it. You can see the tour in a video and so forth. So imagine the possibilities of just doing this. And the key here is if you can get a QR code on the product itself, then that's a huge thing. If it's like a handbag, then put it on the tag. If it's a pizza box, you can put it on a pizza box. And it just makes it easier for the person to get to know you better. And let's say you do a QR code funnel. For example, you put a QR code on the menu, and then when let's say it's a pizza box, and then they scan it, they get information they want, and they pay for the pizza box. When the pizza box arrives, the pizza box has like a QR code. They scan the QR code and get like 30% off or whatever percent or whatever amount of money or discount or coupon off of that future product. So as you can see here, you're building with QR codes. You're just getting people used to, QR codes and using them to basically make more sales on the back end. So as you can see right here with coupons, let's say for example that you are a local restaurant, you could get creative and place tabletop QR codes right on the table for diners to download. Because most likely the diners sat down, the customers sit down, they're waiting for the food, they're looking at the tabletop piece of paper that is sitting there, they're just glancing through, they see a QR code right there on the table to download. You could even do stuff like coupons, like as they are sitting there, get $5 off your dinner right now if you scan this QR code and join this list. I mean, most people in most companies, when they give you coupons right when you are sitting there, a lot of coupons usually are given to people for the future purchase. But imagine building your list by getting people to scan that QR code right then and there and just give them a coupon. I mean, yeah, you might lose $5 or $4 or $3 or so forth, but you're getting that person onto your list, especially if they're happy. That's going to make them happy. They've saved money at that moment. And I know for a fact most restaurants and most companies don't do that. They usually give you a coupon for the future to come back later. So that's another good way to build your list, and I'll talk more about that in the future videos. So with that said, let's get to the meat of this video. Let's talk about how to create a QR code. You can do so by using a third-party tool, which I'm going to show you how. Or you can do it on your site. I'm going to also show you if you want to host it on your own website, you can do that as well. Now there are several ways that you can implement these tactics. You can build curiosity like I talked about, Q&As or coupons. We've already talked about that. And in order to get started, you need two items. You need a landing page or action. So the landing page doesn't have to be a page, it could be a video. Or value. And value. So you need two things. What do they need to do, number one, and number two, where do they need to go? There's a fun little creative site that I use called bcurious.com/generator. It's bqres.com/generator. If you go to the site, it gives you the ability to create a QR code, a basic QR code with a web URL, email, phone, text message, vCard, which is contact information, text message, and a YouTube video. It also gives you the ability to create like social QR codes, graphical QR codes, and a map. So let's say, for example, that you want something simple where they scan a QR code and there's forwarded to a PDF file. And you can do that here, which is really convenient. So that's why I like this site, because it provides you with many, many different options that you can use. So let's say, for example, that I was doing a pre-sale mechanism for my product or service. In this case, I would need to think to myself, okay, what am I going to do? Am I providing a coupon? If I was providing a coupon, then what I could do is have them scan this code. And if I wanted to get them to, let's say, join my list, then I can actually forward them to a autoresponder link where they have to fill out their information and so forth. And I'll actually show you in the last video where we talk about list building, but I kind of want to just give you ideas right now. So, but let's say, for example, you were pre-selling and you were just forwarding them directly to a coupon. If you're doing that, then go to BeCurious.com and click on graphical, and then simply create an image and then upload that image here and just create a code, or put a link directly to a PDF file or a PNG file and so forth. So that's why I like this tool. It makes it a lot easier. Now, let's say you didn't have this tool. If you didn't have this tool, then you can just go to basic, and then under web URL, you just post a direct link to that image, which whether as your coupon and so forth. And another thing you can do is, let's say you're doing a Q&A and you didn't want to make the page too bland. If you did that, you could even make an image with words on it and just link directly to that image. So this is where you would use sites like winksite.com and so forth. You would create a page, you would get the page, and you would put the URL here and create a code. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to link to Fiverr.com. I would just click create code. After I'm done, as you can see, you've got a different code. And then what I would advise you to do is take your iPhone, take your Android, take your smartphone, and then scan that QR code just to make sure that everything works before you begin to post this QR code on any like pizza box or any flyer or whatsoever. Because once you're set that, it's set and done. You can't change it. So BeCurious is a third-party tool. Another thing I would recommend is if you want to get all detailed, and there are some QR code generators that do track, let's say somebody scans it and then then and there. The way you can track it is to track by creating a unique link to wherever location that you're linking that link to. Now, if this doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Just ignore me and just focus on BeCurious.com. And if you want to self-host it on your own site and create QR codes on your own site, you can do that. There's a place, if you go to codecannon.net and you type in QR codes ultimate generator, this is a highly recommended tool as well. And of course, before I end this video and move on to the next video and talk about video tours and so forth, another site that I personally use is called bitly.com, and it enables you to create QR codes as well. Bitly is good because it allows you to track your links. So you just enter the links here, create an account, and you can create a QR code as well with Bitly. So I just wanted to throw that out as well if you want to try different sites and test it out. So with that said, let's move on to video number 6. We're going to talk about video tours, and then the video number 7, we're going to talk about list building.